Hey everybody, it's Alana from Truly Great Life, and as you may have seen, I'm now trying different social media platforms, and we'll see how the heck that goes. So one of the things that I just wanted to share before Shabbat comes in is this idea of perfection and this idea of branded and this idea of glamorous and exceptionalism, or just so one of the things that I've struggled with social media for a very long time, and if you know me in real life, or if you've worked with me before, you know that I am not the hugest fan of social media. However, that being said, over the last 4 or 5 years especially, I've seen people who I follow, learn from, admire, consider virtual teachers, embracing and using this tool, this technology, for the good. And that has inspired me for a very long time, because I personally know how much I've grown and benefited and been held by their words, their messages during times, I'm specifically talking about in 2020 and beyond, when things I thought were as bad as they were going to get. Of course, haha. But and then there was, so what I would just want to say is, a lot of us who are on social media, it's this crazy, there's this crazy potential for comparison. There's this crazy potential for fakeness, making things look better than they necessarily are. And we now have the research to back up what many of us suspected, which is that this is not great for mental health. But that being said, my goal is to use this platform in a way that gets the message out that I feel needs to be shared, right? So whatever that is, whether that is about God, I'm now talking about the divine source, spirit, and being open to the idea of a relationship, for lack of a better word, with the creator, for lack of a better word. Again, you use your own terminology, because it literally changed my life. And as I mentioned in the first post about this, I'm not what you would call a religious person. I did not grow up religious. I definitely did not grow up with in an environment that was talking about the concept of God at all, other than God doesn't exist, because otherwise how would the Holocaust have happened? So this is something that I have grown into, but it did start over 10 years ago, and it literally has made the difference in my life for me to handle challenges that I never could have anticipated. And so there's so much I could say about this, and I'm going to be just sharing those, little visual posts as I figure out what I'm not a graphic designer. I do this all on my own, so you might see the images change. I'm trying to keep this short, but my point is about perfection, or my point is about the presentation. And I know Instagram in particular is this platform for everything looking nice and beautiful and shiny. And as you probably are already sensing, my brand, if you will, for lack of a better word, is definitely messy, imperfect, and I'm a big fan. I say to my kids, I say to my clients, I'm a big fan of good enough. So yes, there's a value in excellence, sure. But if it paralyzes us to not taking action, or if it paralyzes us to not taking risk because we don't think we're doing it perfectly, then are we really growing? Are we really doing what we're here to do? So, and this could evolve, of course, but I just want to get things out there, put things out there. And I don't want to run circles around myself with, it doesn't look as good, or is it good enough? Yes, it's good enough. And I just want to say, whatever you want to share is good enough. Whoever you are is 1,000% good enough. And so one of the amazing benefits, if you will, of being curious and open to this idea of source, divine, God, Hashem, whatever, is that because I'll just use God for simplicity's sake. Because God is perfect, because God is perfection, because, I don't know if you can see my necklace or if it's coming out, like Anod Milvado, like there is nothing above, nothing beyond, nothing out of God, which is a whole different rabbit hole I could go down. But the point is, like, we are not meant to be perfect. This perfectionism, it needs to look incredible. We're not meant to be perfect. You are perfectly you. We are perfectly in our core, right? Maybe there's a lot of gunk and schmutz covering it up. Maybe there's work that needs to be done. But again, we're not perfect. We're not meant to wait until things are perfect. We are meant to rectify, to work on things, to get them better. But again, like, take that pressure off. If there is something you are feeling called to do, if there's something you're trying to do, just for fun, maybe, just like a passion project, just stam kacha, like because you want to, just do it. When you get to a point where you're like, what's the worst that happens? Okay, no one likes it, or that kind of sucked, or, well, it wasn't as good as it could be. But like, the world doesn't swallow you up, right? The world doesn't come to an end. So you can get more comfortable with risks. So I just want to share with this idea of God, divine source, something outside of yourself, something greater than yourself. When you understand that only God is perfection, like perfectly perfect, and you don't have to be, the pressure can come off. So for type A people, you know, of which I'm definitely less than I used to be, I hope, I think. But like, we don't have to be perfect in order to do good. And we don't have to be perfect. And we don't need to wait for things to feel like all the stars aligned and now is the right time. I have a very long history of not waiting for the quote unquote best time to do a lot of things. So I just wanted to share this message before Shabbat. I know is coming in Israel really soon. Just do it. Now I sound like Nike, just do it. But I mean, do what is calling to you from a real internal place. Excuse me, there are the things that you are feeling called to for a reason. You don't have to wait for it to be perfect. I am doing this video without it. I mean, no makeup, no nothing. And just, I need to get this message to you that the idea of God, being open to the idea of God, being open, even if you don't believe, that's what I just posted, like, you don't have to believe, it's okay. But if you shut down and you close off the very possibility where you're not open-minded to it, like maybe there's something there to explore. Being open to the idea of something greater than yourself gives you permission to move forward, to take risks without worrying about, is it going to be perfect? I say we're all good enough to start doing more good. Shabbat shalom.